So, I just got my hands on the Comic Patrol subscriptions. My opening thoughts so far after getting my first shipment, which was issues 1 to 6, are these. I am hyped for more Warhammer stuff. I love the influx of plastic and of just the books, everything. I love getting stuff in the mail and opening it up and seeing, Warhammer models. That's kind of why I have so many issues when it comes to placing bids on eBay. I do have one minor complaint though with how the material came to me, which was there is a lot of packaging. There was a lot of bags within bags within bags. If you don't really care about leftover plastic or packaging or whatever, then this shouldn't be an issue. So just keep a heads up for that. I do have one bonus that though, while there was a lot of packaging, everything was divided up, that also gave the benefit of it being organized, of it being clean. I did enjoy getting stuff that was individually packaged. That way I was able to isolate and find what I needed as I was flipping through each one of the magazines. Also, the free poster that comes with is really freaking awesome. It's huge, it's massive, and it's written on the back of the pamphlet that contains everything that you will get throughout the course of the subscription. So that's really awesome to have. I like being able to see what I'm going to be getting and looking forward to it in the future, even if the entire thing is based just a glorified ad. Additionally, the subscription service is a great value for what you get in the first month, at least in the first month anyway, in comparison to what you get for buying each one of these model sets individually. Like, I think just doing the math quickly, what you get in the first month for about $80 US would be about $200 if you bought all the models individually, which is ridiculous. Quality of the magazines themselves is a bit hit or miss. The whole puncher machine or whatever they use to create the openings on the sides of the magazines actually causes tearing when you're turning the pages. I found that opening the magazine in reverse, so from the back to the front, did help prevent this issue, but that did not stop it completely. I've even had issues where entire pages have been taken off the book, specifically because of how I opened it. And I'm not aggressively trying to turn these pages. I'm not, being a dickhead about it. I'm literally just turning the pages gently, trying to avoid ripping the pages, and because of how they're made, that does end up tearing the page off regardless. So that's a big complaint that I have, or at least that's a big issue that I found. Otherwise, though, I really like how it's laid out. I like how they're organized, how every single issue starts off with a how to build the units, if it comes with units in particular. This allows you to, start with building the guys instead of actually, learning about the overwhelming story of the lore of it being so overcomplicated before you then have to start learning about how to build your characters. I think that this is way more user-friendly and introduction-friendly to start off with how to build the units over the lore, as I can imagine a lot of people start off with the lore and then make their way to the models, at least in my case. The lore that it comes with, which is, like I said before, laid out after you build the models, is really fun because it usually is in relation to whatever you're building that issue. The first and second issue do cover basic concepts like Xenos, Chaos, and the Imperium. As well as Space Marines and other forces of the Imperium, alongside Hive fleets in the following issues after that. But again, every single one of those is related to the models you get, so you're not gaining any knowledge about something you're not going to immediately be invested in, is the best way to put it. Additionally, the random rolls generator inside the book is awesome. If anyone has done my Space Marine chapter generator, link in the description below, and I know some of you have, this is amazing. This is exactly what I want. I love the idea of rolling dice, seeing the result, and attributing whatever the result is to that character or unit. It's so fun. And I definitely plan on using these random rolls when it comes to making characters and models for these models as they come in. One thing I would add, I would have liked for there to be a map of the Imperial Galaxy. I would have liked there to, even though a map can be overwhelming, even if it's just a small one or of a localized war zone, even if it's just one of the segmentums, that would have gone, leaps and strides into helping people get further acquainted with the setting and the universe. At least for me, I find that having a map to see, because, I love fantasy books. I love flipping through the pages, seeing the maps. Those are so fun. Brandon Sanderson's maps are awesome. They're so great. I love his books. Side tangent. I love seeing those. So a map of the galaxy would have been amazing for introduction to the Warhammer setting through the Combat Patrol magazines. On top of that, though, I think that this subscription really helps when it comes to showing off the universe, especially because the wide range of units and factions that are available through a subscription really do help to flesh out the universe. So even though there isn't a map present, I think this is This does help in getting people acquainted with the universe and the setting, because you can see all the factions you'll get, because you have the World Eaters, the Leagues of Votann, the Astra Militarum, and the Eldari. All four of those factions have completely competing ideologies, aesthetics, and like goals in the setting, right? So having those four factions alone is a great way to introduce someone to the setting, get behind the characters and everything. I just hope they don't do the Eldari dirty like they always do with the Wraithbone retcon. Again, side tangent. I'm starting to sway there. I like that there's combat scenarios for the models you get as you progress through the magazine. So if you have the first magazine, it gives you a situational combat for the Winged Hive, the Winged Tyranid Prime versus the Space Marine Captain. But as you progress through the magazines and get more and more issues and more models over the course of it, you can actually incorporate these models into future scenarios. Like in, I believe it is issue 4, I think, the one with the Von Ryan's Leapers. You have the Von Ryan's Leapers models you get in that issue having to face the Space Marine Captain from issue 1. So subscribing to this service is overall beneficial, especially if you want to take part in these combat scenarios at the end of the magazine, which is really fun. And of course, I can't get over the fact that they introduced a new Space Marine chapter, which is quickly becoming one of my favorites. The Minotaurs are still up there, but I'm honestly a really big fan of how the Silver Templars are portrayed. So far, I'm getting the vibes of them being, paladin-like warriors, but with a type of high-intensity Master of the Forge going on here. A little bit of, Crusader Paladins combined with Iron Hands. Just a brief overview of who the Silver Templars are from what I've learned through the issue. I might do a short about them, honestly, because I'm having a lot of fun just, reading about their lore. The idea is the Silver Templars, over the course of their initiation, are also building a weapon. And this weapon is considered a bond weapon. It's something that is specifically attuned to them. Because in their culture, in their chapter cult, the Silver Templars believe that as you build a weapon, as you pour your energy, your effort, yourself into it, you're literally attributing a portion of your soul to it. And these bond weapons, they'll even modify and enhance, because yes, they do enhance weapons. They're more willing to embrace innovation and new technologies. That being said, though, because of how strong their connection is to these weapons, if they ever lose one, it isn't just an insult or dishonor. It's almost like you yourself are dying because you have lost a part of yourself. It is so interesting, and I love it so much. I might even paint a squad up of these guys, honestly. Or, if you guys are interested, I might even take up the challenge of painting and kit bashing the Marines I get over the course of this subscription into Silver Templars, if you guys want that. Let me know that in the comments below. Maybe tag, Silver Templars in the comments. But with the magazines and the stories and lore that are involved, let's get to the other bonus equipment that comes in, which is the paint and the clippers, which are both really nice. I'm probably not going to be using GW's paint anytime soon because I've heard bad things about it. And I don't know, I personally already have everything I need for painting, so that's kind of not that big of an issue. I'm going to be using the paintbrush for sure. And the clippers are so nice to have because the ones I had before I literally got at a pharmacy. And speaking of more bonus equipment, we also have the Infernus Sergeant model, which, I'm sorry, but yeah, it looks cool, but I'm not going to be using this guy as a sergeant. What most people are forgetting is this guy could easily be kit bashed or just procs it in as a lieutenant with a combi weapon. This is honestly just a free HQ model. Overall, though, I really do like it and look forward to my upcoming issues alongside the bonus content to follow. I do wish it was a bit more frequent, though, with the premium and bonus content, but I'm willing to kind of be okay with it for now. That does, however, lead to a couple questions. The first being, would I recommend this? Would I recommend this subscription service? And that is hard to say. I do love the influx of plastic I'm getting every month. It is a huge mix of pros and cons, however. While I have no major complaints, I do have some issues, like the issues I stated before, particularly with how easy it is to tear pages out of the magazines. Another issue, however, though, is that it's still expensive. Warhammer is an inherently and needlessly expensive hobby. I'm sorry, it just is. So anything you can do to lessen the cost of models or, entry into this hobby is great. But when you're paying almost $100 a month for models, it's still too much in my opinion, even if the bonus content does kind of make up for it a little bit. It's great for collecting a lot of models and a lot of armies, and like I said before, seeing the wide range of aesthetics across the setting. But it is bad if you have no time to actually build and paint those models and armies. And like I said before, my intention is to create a series at least where I cover me building, painting, and writing homebrews for each of the armies I get. So hopefully, if you guys want that, this viewership can actually compensate for me not having that time. I do feel like this subscription service, though, isn't great for one person. Like, it's not great if you're doing it yourself. I do feel like this would be a lot more fun if there was a friend or two who was willing to join in, though. I feel like two people splitting the subscription service would be awesome because it helps everyone involved create and start new armies. It also helps us create shared homebrews and lores, as well as creating fun memories, and even lets you learn and test the game against each other. The best way to summarize it right now, though, for me is it's too expensive and it's too much of an investment for new players. At the same time, though, it doesn't offer much in any way of lore or gameplay for people who are familiar with both. Basically, if you are a new player, you're not really likely to join the subscription all the way through. You're more likely going to pop in for a couple issues, get the models and the information you need, and then dip out of there. If you are familiar with the setting, however, you're either only doing it because you have a problem, like me, or you just want to add some more armies under your belt. As a result, I'd say the best target for this is someone who just got introduced to Warhammer, but is a bit more familiar with the setting and just needs a way to actually get started. Overall, I'm positive that a lot of people will start and take part in the subscription. I do still think most people will drop it about halfway through or after getting that one army they wanted. And honestly, if you're one of those people who just joined the subscription just to get to that one army, like maybe you just want the Leagues of Votann, but you still collect the Tyranids, the Eldari, and the Space Marines, maybe just give one of those armies away to a friend who, wants to start 40k, right? Like, you got them. Even if you don't build them, base them, or paint them, you can still give the sprues away to your friend. And, maybe you might just get someone else into Warhammer this way. I know I'm probably considering doing that myself, given one of my friends is currently unable to buy Warhammer because of its excessive price range. And you'd be surprised how many people actually want to get into Warhammer. But it isn't so much the price that's stopping them, but it's actually the building and painting itself that is actually, in their mind, too time-consuming and initially exhausting. And even if you just give a single squad of intercessors away to a friend just to get them to, get started in the hobby, that can mean a lot to them and become their gateway drug to, this amazing and grimdark setting that is Warhammer 40k. Those are my thoughts on the Combat Patrol subscription service. And if you guys want to stay up to date on this project, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. And let me know what you guys think about the Combat Patrol magazine in the comments below. Is it a good deal? Will you be joining me in gathering sprues for the Sprue Throne? And which issue are you most excited to get released? Well, with all that out of the way, I've got nothing else to say, and I hope you guys all have a great rest of your day. Bye!